Virgin Voyages' newest ship, Brilliant Lady, is launching this year in this video. What to know right now in 2025 so that you know what to expect coming up. And if you're new here, ahoy, I'm Christine Lozada. I love Virgin Voyages. I'm about to go on sailing number 19. I want you to book your sailing with us because I love helping people to be smart travelers. What you're watching right now is part 1 of a series about Brilliant Lady, so stay tuned for itinerary videos, Alaska and more. But what to expect in this video? Let's make sure we all know our ship and we're on the same page. What's different about Brilliant Lady versus other ships, a preview of some of the really interesting itineraries. Again, we'll talk full itineraries in the next 2 videos. Some interesting offers that Virgin Voyages has going on, and we'll finish with my honest opinion because Virgin Voyages in cooler temperatures, I would think that they need to change around some of the programming and some of the things that they offer on the ship. Pajama party under the stars when it's cooler? Because honestly, I used to think all the ships were the same experience.
And boy, was I wrong about that.
And I may have had a conversation with somebody about a new dining experience we might get to expect on Brilliant Lady. So stay tuned to the end for that part. But let's kick this off with a quick overview. Brilliant Lady is launching September 2025, and that's after a 2-year delay. As a reminder, we have Scarlet Lady launching in 21, we have Valiant Lady from 22, Resilient Lady from 23, and Speculating. This will be the last lady ship for a while.
Just my opinion.
She'll have the same design as the other lady ships, but with a few nuances, which we'll talk about in the next section. But one thing that is unique is the way she's doing her mermaiden, or her first voyages out of each port. There's going to be 4 mermaidens. Her first one kicking off September in New York City, where I used to live, and then her 3 other home ports. So Miami, Los Angeles, Seattle, they will each have their own unique mermaiden inaugural sailing. Let's talk about what's different between Brilliant Lady and the other 3 lady ships, because there are 4 key things that I think we should all know about. The first one is about the ship layout. And I thought that it would be exactly the same thing, and to be honest, it is exactly the same thing. When I look at the deck plans and I look super closely, I'll see like a small nuance, like the necessity shop is right next to the manor, but we've also seen in the other lady ships a little bit of a switch around some of the shops. For example, Resilient Lady, where Squid Ink, the tattoo parlor, is at, that looks a little bit different, so things are shuffled around just a bit. Otherwise, it's the same thing. You're really not going to notice a difference, but it does lead to what does make Brilliant Lady different than the other lady ships, which is the structural change of how they are putting the lifeboats on the ship. So the way the lifeboats are positioned will allow this lady ship to pass through more unique spaces like the Panama Canal. So that also creates this next one, which is a new cabin type. So we've all known that there's limited sea view cabins on the other lady ship in which you're looking directly at those lifeboats. Since they will be positioned a little bit differently, this new cabin type is a slightly smaller sea terrace. This is footage from a normal sea terrace, but just imagine something slightly smaller is what you can expect. The next one is around entertainment and dining. And so on the entertainment front, I'm expecting, this is speculation, just like Resilient did, that there will be a whole new lineup of entertainment, some similar things from before, but a lot of brand new shows that are specific to Brilliant Lady. And dining, we'll talk about at the end. For this next section, let's talk about itineraries, because there's 2 key things to know. One is Brilliant is going to Alaska, and the second is that there are just some really unique itineraries given this new size of the ship with the lifeboats being repositioned on the ship. And don't forget, there are 2 more videos that follow this, one specific to Alaska and one specific to the unique itineraries, but I don't want to leave you hanging, so I'm going to give you, my favorite one of each of these 2. And if you're getting some value out of this video, cheers that like button, consider subscribing. And if you have a helpful tip, we're all a community. Add it in the comments below. I want to help you. Let's help each other to be smart travelers. And don't forget, I want you to book your sailing with us. We can make sure in just a couple of seconds and in a couple of hours have a new quote for you about your sailing. So make sure you're taking those 2 super quick steps to be a smart traveler. Oh, Sal, I met you on our last sailing. You left so so much money on the table.
But I will see you on the next sailing. I'm excited for that.
Tell me your sailing dates if you're sailing below, and come join us in the Facebook community. We have a ton of amazing sailors over there. Let's highlight an Alaskan itinerary. And to be honest, I don't like cold weather, but this one I'm excited about. What is it called? We're looking at Inside Passage Alaska and Canadian coasts. This sailing is happening June 11th, 2026, and is a 12-night sailing. What's really cool about it is how many places it goes to and how many really unique places it goes to. We're talking about visiting a stunning glacier, heading to famous Ketchikan, and going to Victoria. How cool is that? And while I'm not going to call this an inexpensive sailing, it starts at $4,920. What's interesting is I genuinely thought that these sailings would be priced way more. So at this price per person per night with 2 people in a cabin, I actually think it is accessible for a lot of travelers. And the other thing is, I don't want to call it like a bad boyfriend that won't go away, because it's a good thing. Wave is still here. They changed it just a little bit so that bar tab, which bar tab is also like a bad boyfriend that like you think keeps going away, but it stays, but it's a good boyfriend to have. Anyway, bar tab is still here. There's less bar tab available in the wave sail, but wave sail is still here. So just if there's a time to even consider booking, you should get a price quote now, because if there's one thing Virgin Voyages always does is they change things constantly and keeps us on our toes to make sure you're still continuing to get the best deal out there. Oh, Frontier Pass JC will kill me if I tell you what happened with that. Basically, we're looking out for you. Ooh, I forgot to tell you one more key thing to know, which is during the Alaska sailings in the month of July across all ships, but obviously Brilliant Lady included. What a cool way to not only see Alaska, but to do the Eat and Drink Festival. And if you're not familiar with what that is, oh, it's really fun. Not fun for fitting in your pants, but was a great way to try a lot of new, different foods and drinks on Virgin Voyages. I loved experiencing the Asian market at sea, for example, which is what created the new Lucky Lotus at Razzle Dazzle. It was wildly successful because it was wildly delicious. I enjoyed it. But Eat and Drink July, so if you're doing Alaska, oh, do it in July. Just my humble opinion. Clearly very excited about Eat and Drink. Okay, let's talk about the next itinerary. Might be the most exciting one and is not sold out. There was a really long wait list for it, but you still have an opportunity to see the Panama Canal aboard Brilliant Lady. This is not a short sailing, it's a repositioning. We're going 16 nights from Miami all the way to LA. Great way for me to go from Meatball's house to go see my parents in San Diego now that I think about it. But at this price point, you're looking at this much per person per night in a 2-person cabin. Look at this itinerary. There's some really unique stops here, but I thought this would be sold out and it's not. Stay tuned for the next 2 videos. We've booked a lot of Brilliant Lady and I want to share with you guys what others are interested in, and as well as our own opinions around the key ones that could be really interesting to keep an eye on. Let's talk about some of the offers that are currently out there on Brilliant Lady, because let's be real, we all want to be smart travelers. There's
not the Frontier Pass.
2 key ones to know about. One is the Brilliant For You Pass, which is if you go on all 4 of the Mermaiden inaugural sailings, you get special deals and discounts and additional perks on that. So that's one, and Rockstar is sold out, but they still have Sea Terrace ones available. The other one is the annual pass, which I actually still think is relatively very interesting if you have the ability to spend an entire year, 365 days of unlimited sailing, switching around with all these unique and super different itineraries, so you have the opportunity to spend an entire year at sea. That's another one that's available. Regardless, we got you every step of the way, both in the planning process with the content as well as supporting you through your journey. So consider booking your sailing with us, and let's speculate about a couple things, because if there's one reason why I do not work for Virgin Voyages, it's so that I can share my honest opinions, because I have some. For this next section, I want to share very honestly 4 opinions I have about Brilliant Lady, and I want you to get involved because I'm genuinely curious what your opinions are. Because when I tell people, oh yeah, I'm going on my 19th sailing with Virgin Voyages, I can't tell you how many times I hear, oh yeah, this is 27 for me. Oh, Sailor Mike, 42. I'm not allowed to name this other one who I love so much. He's been on board twice as much as I have. There are a lot of OGs are around, and I know a lot of people who watch my channel have a opinions and have been on Virgin Voyages before. And so I have 4 key opinions, and I'm curious what you think about these. The first one is I expect Brilliant Lady to make a lot of changes around the outdoor activities and programming they have. So I had alluded to Pajama Party Under the Stars. I'm curious if they're going to continue to keep that outside or if they will just change that night completely. I mean, we just heard, right? Circus Disco, i.e. Studio 72, is being sunsetted and they're adding new stuff. For example, I mean, there's so many amazing Latin bands that have been coming on lately. Pink Agave After Dark has been performing well. And so we're seeing a lot of changes in the programming for what parties are on board. I'm curious if they'll change that for not only Pajama Party Under the Stars, but the Scarlet Night Pool Party. That is, in my opinion, my most favorite part about Scarlet Night. I recently sailed with somebody who had an opinion that they thought Scarlet Night was a bust, and then they got attacked in the comments because everybody loved, like, that was one of the best Scarlet Nights I've ever been on. Everybody defines fun differently. I respect that. So I think some of those things will change. And I'm also curious about things like, are they going to heat the pool? I mean, are they just going to rip out the pool completely? Because everyone always complains about it. They're not going to rip out the pool. The next thing is some of the restaurants are working really well and some of the restaurants are not working really well. And when I say working really well, I mean things like how many sailors are dining there. When you think about it, when you book your dining at the Wake or at Pink Agave, it's hard to get those reservations, right? Versus, yeah, you can just stroll into Razzle Dazzle. Why? Because, oh man, that restaurant has been struggling from day one. It started off as this whole like vegetarian, vegan restaurant, which immediately changed to having a million meat items. Oh, the pork schnitzel. I have seen the Razzle Dazzle menu change a million times over the years with things I really miss. We're now seeing this concept of Lucky Lotus on Scarlet Lady, and I have heard that given some of the Mediterranean sailings that have been going really well, we're going to see some Mediterranean themed foods here. So I'm not, and this is again my opinion and speculation, I'm not expecting a Lucky Lotus on Brilliant Lady. I am expecting something that is Mediterranean themed on that ship. Ooh, I want to know what your opinion is about that. My next speculation, and this is really one for people who've sailed before and sailed more than once, is I think the best of the best will be there. And what I mean by that is in a lot of their newer ships, and I'm just going to say from experience, I've noticed that they'll put the most talented, have done a lot of contracts with Virgin Voyages, happenings casts on the ships that they care about, i.e. the newer one. So I think Brilliant Lady is going to have a fire happenings cast. Oh, tell me your opinion on that and tell me in the comments below who some of your favorite happenings cast members are. My opinions about my favorites. I have so many favorites. We shall not make a 20-minute video. Oh, maybe we will make a video celebrating them. Kind of like that. I digress. The other big change is going to be one that I see as a result of. And so what I mean by that is, I mean, how sexy are these itineraries? How cool would it be to go see Alaska in this way or some of these other unique places in this way on Virgin Voyages? And I really noticed in some of the sailings I've been on recently that are heavy on the such a cool port, such a cool destination, that unlike the 4s and 5s, the 4-night Miami sailing, the 5-night Miami sailing, where it's all about the ship experience. Yo, it's raining in the Dominican Republic. Yo, it's raining in Costa Maya. No biggie. We're gonna chill on the ship because this is short, sweet, and we here to have a good time, not a long time. The introvert in me is sometimes feeling a lot of anxiety on the 4 and 5 night sailings because people are just so excited to be there and it's so high energy. It's so fun, but it's a lot. My hands are sweaty. But as a result of having these longer sailings at higher price points, not it's expensive, but relative to a 4-night fire and sunset soiree out of Miami, it's a higher price point to do a 12-night sailing on that sexy Alaska itinerary, for example. You're going to get, as a result of that, you're going to get a different cruise clientele. You're gonna get a different who's sailing Virgin Voyages, right? I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I want you to tell me what your opinion is in the comments below. I'm gonna talk about this in its own podcast episode because I think it's important because too often I see people who are here for the nightlife coming on these longer sailings with really cool itineraries and realizing, wow, where is everybody? Because Virgin Voyages isn't just about that. It can be. It doesn't have to be. It's whatever you want to make it. I'm Christine Lozada. Book your sailing with us. 2 more videos follow this. Join me in them. Info in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.